was written especially for you in mind?
Well, when I met her, you know, she's a director and she's also an actress, and I knew her work. And when I met her, we said that we would like to do a film together. So that's how it started. And it's more the story that she built, you know, thinking of me in the story rather than write the part for me.
And the shoot actually it's an incredible number of locations. It's a real road movie. You actually go to something like 40 or 50 different spots, it seems like.
And I drove myself a big car, which is not easy to drive, because it has no automatic...
It's manual.
Yeah, it's manual.
So, and then and most of the cast is non-professionals.
Yes.
It's the first time that you've worked with so many non-actors in so many roles,
Well, it's true. Most of the part they were not professional actors, but I knew very well I understood what she wanted. You know, with that she wanted really to have a sort of freshness and candor, you know, about the people who would be in those parts. So she did a lot of tests. You know, she did a lot of screening with the people she had in mind when she made them and have them rehearse, because there was no improvisation. She had written the script, but she wanted specific character for people, for the characters, and I thought that was very interesting. It was very interesting for me as well.
Were they meeting you for the first time on the set, or were you seeing them in the screen test?
Some of them I met them before, and some I met them before the set, but the same day. Let's say in the morning for shooting a few hours later.
And the part of Charlie is actually played by the director's own son?
Yes, absolutely. He's a very nice and kind little boy. He was nominated for the César in France, you know. And he's going at school, but he's doing a special school for young people who want to learn to dance and sing, because his thing is acting, but also most of all it's singing. He wants to do musicals. He sings very well.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
And then the part of Alain, the grandfather at the end, this is a friend of yours. Please.
It's someone I knew. He's a very famous painter in France, Gérard Garouste, and she wanted someone of that age, so it's very difficult to imagine some actors that you wouldn't know, you know, some people different. So she thought at one time that she would maybe look for singers or writers. And then I thought of him because I was not really very close friend, but I knew him for quite a while, and I thought he had really the character of the charisma, also the character of the film. So he said yes, why not? He was interested. I talked to him. We sent him the script. Then he did test screen, and I did it with him. And that's it. That was it.
I think he's great for the role. Maybe you should be a casting agent after you.
Well, it was just for this once.
In terms of the locations, were you helping Emmanuel scout the locations, or not scout the locations, but were you involved with picking the spots, for example, for the restaurant or the
No, I was involved in trying to make the day happen and go well, because the schedule of the film was quite short for the length of the film we had to do. So I was really more on her side and trying to make things, you know, not to have too much troubles, because we couldn't afford to lose any hour, you know, on that shooting.
Sure. We have time for a couple of questions from the audience. People ask people questions. Don't be too shy. Right here in front, please. Right. So it's a wonderful performance. What drew you to the part?
Frankly, mostly it was to do the film, and to do the film with that woman director. And I thought the part was interesting and nice and kind. I liked it. I liked the whole thing about the film. I liked the story of the characters in the film more than anything.
Were you very familiar with her work before you did?
Yes, I had seen her films. Yes, I knew a few of her films. She's a very interesting director.
Question. There, please.
Not in the character, but it's true that after the first the first version of the script. We met, and I don't remember now because it's quite far away, but I had discussion more about the rhythm of certain scenes than really the character itself, you know. And she likes to work and work again, so and we work, so she retouched and we work on the script for a few weeks. And that's more, yes, that was more something like that, not so much my part, but something about the rhythm of some scenes. Yeah, it was a very good script. She's a very good director and she's a very good writer. I'm going to do another film with her this year. Yeah, this summer.
The Lady in the Scarf, please. Yes.
What other films has she made?
She has made what we call not a court métrage but a moyen métrage.
Sort of a medium-length film,
Yeah.
usually about an hour.
Called
45
La
minutes.
Puce, which was very interesting about a young girl. And she did a very strange, unusual film about a teacher falling in love with one of her pupils. And it was really a love story. It was really a very strong story. It was very unusual because the boy she falls in love with is 12. And it's a real relation between them. It's very, very unusual, very interesting, very, very good film. What?
I'm not sure if her films have been released in the U.S.
I don't know, but I suppose the distributor of the film maybe now is going to look at what she's done before. This film was called Clément, the name of the boy.
Is it a question you felt?
Thank you. I like the place where we went to do the film, and I like all the place where we have been shooting. She did a very important work, you know, before starting the film to go to the train every week, you know, to go and look for places in Brittany where she wanted to shoot, and because it's a lot of work to find those places for. Yeah, but for her, yes, that's what it should be, you know.
And for Betty too.
But for her, it was really very hard work. Because to discover those little roads and all that, you have to really take the car and travel for such a long time.
You, please.
He's billed in the credits, the character's called Papi Cigarette, which I think means grandfather's cigarette. Could you talk about that wonderful scene of the old man who's rolling his own cigarette?
So this is the scene where someone makes Betty the cigarette that she
Yeah.
desperately needs.
Well, this man was an old peasant who didn't know who I was. He had been chosen to replace at the last minute the man who was supposed to do this little part that couldn't do it anymore at the last minute. She was very upset, Emmanuel Berco. But then we had to do the scene, so we went into the room when it was supposed to happen, and there was a problem with the light. I don't remember what exactly, but I sat at the table with this man because I didn't know him, but I didn't want him to be too... well, he was not scared or anything at all because he didn't realize, I think, really what was happening. He knew he had to propose me a cigarette and to make the cigarette. But I started to talk with him about him and his life and everything and the farm, and I was interested. And Emmanuel heard the conversation we were having, and at one time she said, we are going to start shooting. Even he didn't realize the first long shot we did that we were already shooting. And it was very touching because he told me about his life and his fiancée that he lost and never got married after that because he had made that promise to her. I thought it was so very, very touching. At the end of the day, because the scene we did a few shots for that day in that scene with this old man, I went to see the place where he was living outside of the little village, and it was incredible because it was like middle of 19th century, you know. It was like earth in the farm, you know. It was nothing on the ground. It was really earth. It was incredible, like very, very old farm. And it must have been a very beautiful and important farm. So he sort of gave up things. You know, I could see the material and all the machines inside the garage that were sort of half destroyed. But he's more than 80, and he still has his little work in the fields. Much less than he used to, but he's still having that life. He was very very interesting person.
Got time for maybe just one more question? Right here, please. So
Wonderful.
question-
He's one of my favorite directors, and he's a great friend. And I've done, I think, 6 films with him over the 30 years we've been knowing each other.
This is, sorry,
I
this
like
is the
to-
work of André Téchiné.
André Téchiné, yes. I did a film with him last summer that is going to be released before the end of the year in France. It's he demands a lot, you know, and he's a very he has a great expectation. He does a lot of takes, you know. He wants the actor to really. Some directors, you know, they do the scene, you rehearse, they do 2-3 takes, and they like the energy of the first few takes. But André Téchiné is doing sometimes, something I like very much. He's doing very long shots, so the scenes are much longer to prepare and to shoot. And he shoots a lot, and the more it goes now, and the more he does more takes than he used to. But I like to work with him because he's very delicate with actors, and that's the only thing that interests him. You know, it's the actors in the film.
Unfortunately, I think we're about out of time.
Maybe a last question.
One last
before-
question. Thank you. It's very kind. Right here, the young woman there, please.
Well, I think it's always been the same problem. I think there is a sort of urge for youth, you know, in America that is not as strong in Europe, and that's the reflection in the cinema. There are more characters in Europe, I suppose, in the parts for women actresses than in America. But I think there is a slight change since very good films with a woman, you know, over 40. Did well in America, and it seems to be changing a little. And it's not only Meryl Streep saying that, you know, I've heard it from other actresses as well. But it's easier to grow older in Europe than in America, I think.
Well, on that note, I'm afraid we have to end things, but I want to let everyone know that On My Way is opening next Friday,
Yeah.
March 14th, so please spread the word. It's a fantastic performance. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.